The following program contains violence, disturbing imagery, nudity, and, oh my God, why are you even watching this? Just run away. This shit is going to give you nightmares.
Recorded live at the Jerrad Show studios in Tampa, Florida. It's another episode of the Jerrad Show. And now, here's your host, Jerrad Suarez.
That's right, back again for another episode of the Jerrad Show. Tonight, it's Friday, March 23rd, and we will conclude Classics Week tonight. We're bringing it to a welcomed end. I really don't like listening to myself on the podcast, especially ones from 4 years ago. I mean, people tell me they're not bad, but it's just so cringy to listen to myself from back then. Anyways, this is the last day of Classics Week here on the Jerrad Show, and I figured I would end it with a bang. I mean, that sounds wrong. There's no banging in this podcast. End it big with one of my favorite podcast guests. This was my 28th podcast, so 14 after yesterday's podcast, the 14th episode, the Rob Hartson interview. And by this time, I had talked to a lot of people, and I was a little bit more confident with not cursing all the time. I'm sure I do my fair share of cursing in this episode. But yeah, by this time, I was a little bit more confident. And I don't know. What can I say? What I do want to say is that I was recording through GarageBand, and for some reason, when I was recording through GarageBand back then, I don't use GarageBand now, but when I was using that, and I would use the external microphone and try to record Skype calls, for whatever reason, I would get like a double monitoring effect on the. I know nobody cares. It was like an echo. It was an echo in my headphones only, of my voice only. My guest, whoever was on the show, they came across fine, but I had like some echo in my headphones, and it was weird. So it kind of makes the podcast, to me at least, I could kind of see what's going on. Like it's kind of weird because I'll jump in, and when I do jump in, I try to say something long and try to keep what I'm trying to say in my head and not get distracted by this crazy echo. I wish I could have somehow recorded it in. I could do it this way. I don't know if that definitely sounds like. Okay, so right now I'm monitoring the microphone, and I also have it coming in as the main direct input, and it sounds crazy. You probably can't hear this, so anyways, I'm going to switch that off, and then let's go ahead and just get started with this. This is Raychul Moore. I'll talk more about Raychul after I play this podcast, and I think I might listen to a little bit of this because I might be able to get through this. Actually, you know what? The beginning's probably so cringy, I'm just going to take the headphones off anyways. I do like listening to the old intro, which was pretty cool. I might bring that back. That would be. I don't know how I would do that with the announcer, the announcer that I have. If I can make that work, I don't know. Maybe we'll try that after the podcast. So go ahead and enjoy Raychul Moore, the 28th episode of the Jerrad Show with Raychul Moore here on the Jerrad Show.
Jerrad, you sound like a real nice guy. You're not a bit, are you, Jerrad? Like you're a real guy who asks these questions. Really, you're not some guy out there playing a role on the radio who asks questions that I answer about 20 times a week anyway. This isn't a bit for you, right?
It's time for the Jerrad Show. Here's your host, Jerrad Suarez.
That's right. It's time for another episode of the Jerrad Show. I'm back. Jerrad's back. It's right. Tonight I have an awesome guest for you guys. Raychul Moore joins me from Hollywood. Raychul Moore, did I say it right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We're going to step right into this right now. It's been a while since I've actually been on a podcast, but what a great way to get back into the swing of things by talking to somebody that I'm kind of a fan of. You do a lot of stuff on YouTube. For the listeners that don't really know much about what you do, let's describe of all the things that you do, really.
Okay, yeah, I just do mainly video game content, so gameplays and reviews, top 10 lists, opinion pieces, just basically game-related stuff.
And that's like mostly like the whatever's current, like the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, whatever's current?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Do you ever do like retro games, or do you do like iPad games, or do you do like any other kind of games besides like the big consoles?
Yeah, I play all of that stuff. I don't really do much content on YouTube about it, though. I mean, I'll do, retro stuff in top 10 lists, of course, but as far as reviews and things, I usually don't. And not like, I play iPad games all the time, but there's really not much to talk about when it comes to those.
Yeah. I mean, well, they've been around for a long time, so.
Yeah, the iPad games are kind of basically, a lot of them are just very much the same in their own ways.
Yeah. Well, it's really funny because one of the things that that's special about your show or your channel on YouTube is that you do a lot of the video game stuff, but I really don't watch any of the video game stuff. I don't have console stuff, so I think I've checked out like your Stick of Truth playthrough, which was fun. But basically, I got introduced to you from your other stuff that you do. You're just like random stuff that you do on YouTube. It was actually the Day at Disneyland was the first video that I saw of you, and that was like so much fun. It was like 45 minutes of you and like two of your friends, and you guys went over to Disneyland. And well, how much time do you spend on doing video game stuff compared to doing stuff like randomness?
Well, usually the video game stuff I tend to focus on more because it's kind of like my life. It's all I really know. And then the random stuff I just kind of started doing just kind of because I like it. It's fun. I go to Disneyland probably about once a week, and I just recently started doing that kind of stuff. I mean, I'd done like movie reviews on my channel as well, but usually kind of always stuck to video games. Have been liking doing more of the, I guess, vlog style of things lately. Taking my camera places and stuff with me. It's always fun.
Yeah, definitely. I had a lot of fun just personally watching that video. It was like, I've never been to Disneyland. I am in Florida. I think I've told you this once before, but I'm in Tampa, and I know that you were born here.
Yep.
So I don't ever get over to California. I've never been to Disneyland. But it's cool to like see like somebody else's experience, and Disney is something that even East Coasters can get into because of the whole Disney World thing.
Yeah.
But like, it's cool just to be able to see your experience. And I'm going to be honest with you. At the first couple of minutes of the video, I was like, this is like kind of boring or whatever. We're just like going through the park or whatever. But like, as you get into it, you're like going on all the rides, and it's not like a ride through video. You know how like people just get on the rides and they like stick a camera up on the front of the thing and they like ride through the ride, and those are very popular. But the way you did it, it was like really you presented your entire day to the world, and it was really awesome the way you did it, and you kind of captivated me on that.
Oh,
and
thank you.
That's where I started watching your videos, and actually I never really watched any of your video game content in the beginning because you have so much stuff, like other stuff. The What's in Rachel's Box is hilarious. That's another one of the series that you do. I guess people just send you gifts and stuff.
Yeah, and artwork that they've done, and yeah, it's really awesome and humbling at the same time.
Now, where did that start? How did you get an idea to just like put a P.O. box address up there and allow people to start sending you stuff?
People had always asked if I had like a P.O. box, and then I just started getting like stuff in the mail, and I just wanted to find a way to kind of thank them, you know, and I can't make like personal videos for every single person. So I figured I would start making a video on YouTube because apparently they're a fan of my YouTube. So how can I thank them that way? So yeah, I just started making videos where I would highlight what people were sending me.
Which is really cool because you get some of the like coolest stuff that I've ever seen. Like you got a Link shield and Master Sword.
Yeah.
Got, like how much stuff? Like, what's the coolest thing that you've ever got?
Ooh, coolest thing I've ever got. Probably either the Kratos Blades of Chaos replicas or my Uncharted 3 Sideshow Collectibles Nathan Drake. Because I love Nathan Drake. So that was really cool to get.
Yeah, definitely. Now, is there anything that you've ever got that you're like, this is kind of, weird? Because you have a disclaimer on the videos, like no weird stuff. Did you ever happen to like open a box of like bodily fluids or something terrible like that?
No, not at all. Everybody's been really awesome and just sent really awesome stuff, and they know me really, really well.
That's really cool because I mean you're basically putting a lot of your personality and who you are out there in the videos and the content that you put up on YouTube. Like I said, that 45-minute video of like you hanging out at Disneyland, that was pretty awesome, and I'm sure that people get to know you a lot through all your videos. Like just from the video that I watched that we were talking about now, that's oddly unavailable on YouTube. But I learned that you are a fan of like knee socks.
Yes.
That's like
obsessed.
one of the big things.
Yes. Definitely very, very obsessed.
So you get a lot of like knee socks, and like cosplay is another big thing that I know that you're into. Is like the costume based after like popular culture or nerd culture or whatever.
Yeah, it's basically cosplay is like when someone makes or creates a costume based off of something that's either a video game character, comic book character, movie character. And it's all about being like a fan of something to the point where you want to make that costume and then you represent them in photo shoots or, conventions and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, when did you get into doing that? Because it seems like you've been on the internet. I know Kasim G has featured you in one of his videos, is like spotlight on California or whatever the videos he does. But you've been doing this for a long time. When did you get into it?
I got into it I think it was either 2006 or 2007. And I've just loved it. The creation phase is one of my favorites, is making the character and the costume and then deciding like, how am I going to represent the character well, but also add my own like personal touch to each costume. That's definitely my favorite part of it.
Definitely. I see most of the things that you do. Like one of the really cool ideas that you have is like taking male characters from video games and then putting them into like, you model them. So like you've done Kratos, which was one of the most badass one that I've seen. What's one of the most favorite ones that you've done? I know you've done a lot of them.
Kratos is my favorite. That was definitely because I'm such a God of War fan. And then, dressing up like one of my favorite characters was awesome.
Yeah, definitely. You got a lot of stuff in store for this year. I saw you teased some drawings, I guess, on Twitter and other social media. What do you have coming up for this year?
I'm working on definitely Dante from the original Devil May Cry is my main focus. And then what else did I put up? I know I want to work on Emma Frost, and I was thinking of Lilu from Fifth Element. And I thought there was somebody else, and I can't remember who it was that I was planning on putting things together for this year.
So you're spanning like all kinds of different mediums, like video games, movies, comic books. Is there anything that you like? I would guess that you try to do video game cosplay the most because you're such a big fan of video games.
Yeah, just because I really don't. for me personally, cosplay is about being a fan. It's not about how accurate or how amazing your costume looks. It's bottom line. You've got to be a fan. So since I'm mostly a fan of video games, I tend to do more video game cosplay, I think, than anything else.
What is like where have you taken it besides like video games? I know you mentioned Emma Frost, which is comic books. Have you done comic books before?
Yeah, I've done
like comic book characters.
I did Natalia Castle from Danger Girl. I did a female Thor, and oh man, I can't remember all the people I've done. Thor. Black Canary. I think maybe that's it for my comic book cosplay. Maybe. I can't remember.
That's pretty awesome, though. I'm sure it's like a lot of fun just to like be able to grab all those things together. And like, what's like the process of you being able to bring those individual pieces together? Like, I've seen that you've had people send things before. Like, I've also, I think I recall that you don't try on the outfit until the day of or something like that. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, and it's not something I would recommend anybody doing. It's just, I don't know why. I guess I'm just lazy, or most of the costumes are really hard to put on and to then get back off. And so it's like, oh, I don't want to go through the trouble of putting it all on. And I just hope it all works together, and then I'll put it on as I'm getting ready to leave for the con. And that's not a good idea ever. Don't ever do it.
What happened? What's one of the worst times that you've had to deal with that? Like, I guess you would have to just compensate and do with what you can with it. I mean, like,
yeah.
when you actually try everything on, it's the day of con and something doesn't fit right. What option do you have?
Oh man, you just have to, kind of roll with it and see what you're going to do. How are you going to fix it? What are you going to, like, how many safety pins did you bring? Stuff like that. I think the worst that I've had to deal with, or that happened, was with my Booker DeWitt costume. Since I didn't try on the pants were too small. They were like a size too small. And so I ended up having to do that thing where like the girls will roll over the top of the pants, they'll like have it unzipped and then roll the top over. I had to do that. And I got so much hate from people that I didn't represent the character well. Why was I trying to sex up the character?
Right.
But I wasn't. It was just because I did a really bad thing by not trying on the pants first. So I just had to deal with it and make the best of it.
That's tough, especially like when a character like that has a lot of there's a lot of fans behind it that want to see that character done right, and if you slip it up or you sex it up like you made that mistake of not being able to try the pants on, that's got to be I can see how it pisses people off, but at the same time, what are they complaining about?
Yeah, it's my interpretation of the character, pretty much.
So, I really like to talk about this. I don't really talk about it with most people that I have on the show, but your channel is a little bit different, being that you're a beautiful girl. There's a slew of fucking terrible comments on every one of your videos. Do you just what do? Do you just not notice those? Do you ignore them?
Yeah, I pretty much just try to ignore them. People, no matter what I do, no matter what I say, I'm not going to please everybody. And no matter what, there's going to be people out there that want to be jerks and want to just, be kind of assholes to me. So if I let it get to me, or if I let them change my content or how I deliver my content, then that's just it's not going to change them. It's going to actually harm me. So
yeah, definitely.
I just do it because do what I want and the way I want to.
I feel like there's so many pervs that comment on every single. It's like it never fails. Any one of your videos, no matter if it's South Park Stick of Truth or you're doing some cosplay or something, WonderCon or one of the cons, it never fails. There's always some perverted, disgusting person on there who just. It's like I wonder if people think that people that provide content on the internet are real people sometimes. I wonder if they forget that. But
yeah,
it's really weird. But another aspect of that is like the social media thing. I follow you on Twitter, and so do a whole lot of other people, including some like, creepy stalkerish kind of guys. Do you have that a lot? Do you recognize that? Do you try to like not, recognize it as much, or try to like leave it alone, like let it do its thing and not, pay attention to it, or what? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I just kind of let it go. Because if I don't draw attention to it, like if there's some creepy stalker and they're not being mean or being really gross, they're just kind of always there and always commenting on everything. They're not harming anybody. And, if I call attention to it, that's actually going to almost encourage them. So you just let them do their thing and don't worry about it unless it starts to get to a point where it's like, okay, something needs to be done or something needs to be said.
Yeah, or if it like gets scary or something like that. Because I've seen like everybody knows the Reply Girl. If anybody's been on YouTube, whatever her name was, Megan Speaks or whatever, she at the end of her like YouTube career had some terrible stalker, and she like freaked out about it, posted like all kinds of videos, and I was like, man, that's probably the worst thing that you could do is draw attention to it.
Yeah,
but I guess her case was like violent or something. He was threatening to kill her or whatever, all that terrible stuff. A lot of the things that I see with you is like people that are just like head over heels in love with you, which is I guess understandable, because like you're a one of a kind, really. You're a pretty girl and you love video games, and that's, a lot about it. So a lot of lonely guys probably dig that, and you get some cool presents off of it.
Yeah. Well, everybody's been really cool, and I've only had like one person that freaked me out, and I just kind of took care of it, privately. I just contacted Twitter, gave them the guy's, Twitter name, and screenshot the tweets and let them take care of it. I'm not going to draw attention to it or anything, because a lot of times that's what they want. They want to know that I'm noticing them, and the last thing I want to do is draw attention to it. So just take care of it quietly and kind of, like a little assassin.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely something you want to do quickly, is nip that in the bud, in case, you never know nowadays. There's crazy people, especially with like the connectability that we have on the internet, how we could just connect to anybody, especially on Twitter. I love Twitter, and it's so much fun, but there's definitely some scary aspects of it when you get down to it.
Yep. Yeah, there really is, especially because they have instant access to you. But it is through the internet, and as long as you don't put out information about yourself that they could use either against you or to find you, then it's okay. Just be smart with your social media is what I would tell people. Yeah.
Well, now thinking about that, would you ever do like a meetup or anything with anybody, like a group thing, like an event, like a meet up with Raychul at Disneyland or something? Would you ever do anything?
Yeah, I did that last year at WonderCon, and I was going to do it again this year at Comic-Con, but I got sick. I mean, at WonderCon, but I got sick that day and had to leave early. But yeah, I've done like meetups and stuff.
And how did those go? Do you ever have like stalkers meet you there, or has everything been smooth with that?
Everybody was amazing, super, super amazing, awesome people that I had a great time with.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess if you think about it, I guess stalkers like that would probably just be more comfortable behind the keyboard and not actually showing up in front of, and actually having a conversation or whatnot. But you did mention, we've talked about it a little bit, the cons. What do you do when you go to the comic book cons?
Well, if it's a gaming convention, what like I do for my career and stuff is within the game industry, and it's usually on camera work. So it's like hosting or having different weekly shows that I will host or co-host. So at cons, I'm usually there, like E3 or PAX. I'm there with a company doing on-camera interviews and stuff with developers and things. But then for Comic Cons, sometimes like I've done on-camera work, like red carpet interviews and celebrity interviews and stuff. But as of recently, with Comic Cons like WonderCon and Indie PopCon coming up and Comic Con in San Diego, I have a booth, or I go to different companies' booths, and they kind of schedule me for an hour here, an hour there, and I I'm there to meet fans and sign prints and, take pictures.
That's awesome. So you get to just go to these cons and like companies hire you to come sit at their booths and just attract people and come, bring people in and talk about their whatever they have going on at their booths.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So like how many, like what's the best con that you've ever been to? Like have you ever traveled out of the country or anything like that?
Last year was my first time out of the country. Razer, Razer does like laptops and PC gaming peripherals and stuff. They brought me to London Comic Con last October, and it was amazing. Like I had a little booth at the Razer booth, and we had a huge like photo booth set up with a photographer and a green screen, and it was like so much fun.
Man, that's awesome. They took you all the way to London?
Yeah.
Wow. And have you ever been like over there before?
No. It was my first time having to get a passport, and it all happened really quickly. So I didn't even have a passport, and I had, I think, less than a month to get one.
Wow, that's really exciting. And so, they basically paid you to go over to London for them. Now, how is the flight? Everybody talks about the flight being the worst part of it, but
I was really worried because I am not a plane type of person. For more than 3 hours, and I start to freak out. I feel like the air is getting too thick. I can't breathe. I can't move. Like I just start to panic. But my mom had told me she's the same way, and she said that it's actually easier if you go onto a flight knowing you're going to be there for a while. It's easier to relax. And I had no problem. I think I slept most of the way. But like I had brought, of course, my 3DS and my laptop and my iPad, music and all sorts of stuff. And I had no problem at all.
That's cool. Because, it's like the worst part about going over there is the flight. But I guess if you can get a hold of it and control it, the anxiety issues or, whatever it is, the panic or the claustrophobia even, if you can get a hold of it, it's good. But that's like a long flight, isn't it? Like 12 or 13 hours? I don't even know.
Yeah, that's how long it was. Yeah.
So long.
I know. And my flight didn't even have internet. Like, there's flights from San Francisco to LA that's an hour that has internet. But this 12-hour flight from LA to London had no Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's pretty terrible.
I know. I sound ridiculous, but I was just like, what? Crazy.
First world problems, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you mentioned your mom with her little helpful advice. I actually got to see what your mom looks like and your family because you did like a little family video last year for Christmas, which was kind of cool. I like looking at vlogs and like looking at other people's lives, especially like with something intimate like that, like a holiday and their family and stuff. How did you feel about putting your family on the internet like that? I know you have sisters and stuff like that. How did you feel about that?
When I thought about doing it, I was super nervous because I am the overprotected big sister. Like, you do not mess with my little sisters ever, or I will destroy you. But then, I figured since I was going to have control of the editing and control of what was going to be shown and everything, that it would be okay. And they're kind of used to me running around videotaping stuff anyways. And I just kind of had a good time with it. Everybody on YouTube and like my viewers and stuff, they make me such a huge part of their lives. I kind of wanted to make them a part of mine, bring them in to my family, I guess to say.
It was definitely cool giving us a idea of like where you come from, like the personality of your parents. Your dad was really cool.
Yeah.
He actually reminds me of my girlfriend's dad. So that's pretty cool. I would never. I think I would be very hesitant to put my family, especially because you have a younger sister, and do you have more than one sister or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're both younger?
Yep.
Okay, and that's gotta be like definitely scary because you never know like what kind of stalker is gonna get onto your sister, and she doesn't even put her life out there or anything like that. So
yeah,
I'd definitely be hesitant. But like you said, a lot of your viewers and stuff are really cool. Let's take a stab at this. I don't know how really this is gonna work because I've never really brought up like relationships and stuff, but you're dating a pretty cool guy, right?
Yes.
Seth Hendricks, he does stuff on YouTube too. He does like video games and a couple of things. Let's talk about him. I'm sure you would like to do that.
Yeah, well, I had met him, I think it was like 6 years ago. We had just kind of crossed paths. He had this show on this, like, I think it was like an internet network, I guess, called The Stream. And he had a show on there, and one of my friends had a show on there as well. And I was a guest interview on my friend's show, and Seth's show was right after that. So we just met really quick in passing, and then I would see him at different video game conventions and stuff. And there was always like, "Hi, how are you? Good. That's cool. What are you up to? Cool." And then that'd be it. And so I moved to LA, and we kind of reconnected at a friend's party, and it just kind of hit it off really well, and have been together ever since.
That's really cool. Now, like, Seth does, what does he do now? Does he do just videos on YouTube? Or I've heard that he does stuff with production for movies, or he has in the past. What does he do?
Yeah, the movie stuff was in the past, and now he mainly works, I would say, in like marketing, and he gets he works with YouTubers and getting YouTubers promotional work with video game companies and stuff to help promote their games.
That's cool. So do you ever meet any cool YouTubers like through him or through like the stuff that you do?
Yeah, I had a friend, well, me and one of my best friends, Tedekin, we were crazy about this one YouTuber, and a few of his videos were like Bane plays, and he would like Bane plays Slender, and then Bane plays Amnesia, and me and my friend Tedekin, we would quote it all the time. It was hilarious. And then I finally found out that guy was a friend of Seth, so I got to meet him, and that was pretty cool. And I'd probably say one of my favorite YouTubers I've met through him is Olga K. She does all sorts of stuff on her channel, and she is just adorable and cute and fun, and yeah, she's awesome.
That's awesome. Let's see. Let's completely just take this back all the way. Switch topics. Let's go to Disney World. Who doesn't love Disney World? I read a tweet one time, a long time ago, from you that said, in a zombie apocalypse, your number one space to be, like your safe zone, would be Disney World. Were you like just kidding with that, or are you actually serious? Would you actually try to make it to Florida and get to Disney for the zombie apocalypse?
100% serious. I have been to Disney World probably more than I've been in any other one place ever in my life. I know that park better than most, I guess, even my own house. And Disney World would be the perfect place during a zombie apocalypse because, you know, it's got the utilidors all underneath. It's almost like it's self-sustaining, especially, you know, Epcot's got the land where they can grow food there, and they have all the vegetables and fruit that they can grow. Plus they have that whole fish section, which is meat and protein that you would need. And it's kind of like just a self-sustaining little city. And they're one of the largest private police forces. So they've got weapons. You know, that would be my number one place I'd go.
Definitely would be a good spot to, especially with the utilidors. That's pretty cool. I didn't even really think about having the entire corridor underneath the Magic Kingdom to stay away from all the craziness. So you've been to Disney World a lot. How did you? I guess when you lived over here, when did you find the time to make it over to Florida so much?
Since moving away from Florida, because I was born in Tampa, Florida.
That's so
since
crazy,
moving,
by the way.
Yeah, I know. I miss it so much. Disney has always been a huge part of my life. My parents raised, me and my sisters on Disney films, just Disney in the house, and Disney parks. So Disney World has always been the one constant in my life. And I always make a point every year to go back, one to two times a year. Some years from after living away from Florida, I think I went like 4 times, and it's my happy place. It's the best place in the whole wide world.
Definitely. I would definitely agree with that. I live here in Tampa. I've lived here all my life, and I've been blessed with being 45 minutes away from Disney World my entire life. And one of the greatest things that I've been able to do is enjoy the free aspects of Disney World. Like, the monorail is completely free to ride, all the different hotels and restaurants and stuff. You could literally go there, and I do go there for a day and not even go into any of the parks, just because there's so much stuff to do there.
Yep, I have one of the annual passes that work at Disney World and Disneyland, so I like to hop back and forth. I haven't done, I can't remember what the name of it is. I think it's like the two castle challenge or something like that. Two castle 24-hour challenge, where you take a picture in front of Disneyland or Disney World's castle, and then within the same 24 hours, you take a picture at one of the other castles on the other side of the country. I'm going to do that one day.
Wow, that's really awesome.
To both castles within 24 hours. Not yet, but I will.
That's really awesome. Are you going to be going to the 24-hour day? I know that's a big thing this year. They did it last year, but this year, I guess they're allowing people to dress up, which is kind of, I guess, exciting for you.
Yes, I went last year, and it was so much fun. It was amazing. It was my first time doing 24-hour Disney. I know
it was the first
Disneyland
time they did it, though, right?
It was the first time Disney World had done it.
Okay.
Disneyland had done it one other time before this last time, and it was so much fun. It's awesome. And so, yes, this year I will be doing it again. I've learned from last year what to and what not to do, so I am ready.
What is, since you've done it before, and I'm planning on going for my first time to Disney World here in Florida, and to any of the listeners, what are your tips? What are your plans to make sure that this year is better than last?
Get there as soon as it opens. I know Disneyland is opening at 7 a.m., Get there at 7 a.m. because the number one thing you need to do is get a locker. You want that locker because it's going to be hot during the day, but very cold at night. You don't want to be carrying around heavy clothes all day. So that locker is going to be your save point. Get that locker first thing in the morning. For Disneyland people, 2 parks are going to be open. So you have to kind of plan your day because it will get so busy that if you leave one park to go to the other, you might actually get trapped outside of both parks because it's so busy. You could be sitting in line to get to one of the parks for like 2 hours. I think some people are waiting. So make sure you're in your park you want to be for the next several hours at, like, I'd say about 4 p.m. because that's when people are getting off work and then they're coming, and it's going to be busy until about 9 p.m. For me, I'm going to be wearing one of those one piece with feeties adult pajamas. I got Darth Vader ones. So that's it, because
you don't wear those all day?
No. I'm going to wear normal like clothes, but when it gets cold, I can just pull those over my normal clothes. Because the theme this year is heroes and villains. And so what better villain than Darth Vader? Because last year I didn't plan for the cold and I was freezing. So cold. And scope out your place that you're going to sleep, because there will become a time that you've got to lay down for a little bit. And those places are usually like the Hall of Presidents, Lincoln's Theater. There's that theater on Main Street that shows old classic like Mickey cartoons. That's a great place to sleep. Definitely mark out where you're going to be sleeping for a little while.
Yeah, I've talked about the sleeping thing with the people that I'm going with, and they want to sleep in the Carousel of Progress, and I'm just like, I don't know if I could do that while it's moving around and stuff like that. They're like, we always sleep in the Carousel of Progress anyways. I'm like, you bastards. Why are you going to sleep through that?
I love that ride.
Right? It's one of the greatest ones, and I know they don't have it out there at Disneyland anymore. They took it away a long time ago. But we still have it here in Florida. What do you think is better? I mean, you're an annual pass holder for Disneyland, and you've been to Disney World an uncountable number of times. How do you find that they compare?
Disney World is by far better, like almost in every other aspect, because Disney World is much more private. It's quiet. Like when you pass through that sign, it says, Disney World on it. It's got Mickey and Minnie's on the side. Mm-hmm. Once you pass through that, the rest of the world disappears. It's gone. And you are in this bubble of happy. And Disney World makes everything the most convenient thing possible. The new Magic Bands, Fast Pass Plus experience, and the My Experience, Disney app, all that stuff makes everything so convenient and easy. Disneyland doesn't have that. Disneyland still feels very, I don't know, kind of behind the times. And there is none of that escape feeling because there is like 7-Eleven right across the street or some really cheap hotels that you can see from when you're on some of the taller rides, which you just don't lose yourself in the parks. But Disneyland's Space Mountain is better, and Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean is better. Other than that, Disney World wins.
Definitely. I have to agree with the Pirates of the Caribbean. Even though I've never been there, I know how the ride's set up. I don't like the New Orleans kind of thing just because I'm so used to it being in Adventureland and there is no New Orleans here. So like it's kind of weird where you go through the Blue Bayou and it's kind of like you're in New Orleans for the beginning of the ride and then you come back or whatever. It's kind of weird, but the Pirates of the Caribbean and Disney World has really disappointed me the last few times I've been on it. Just with like the additions, like Johnny Depp's everywhere on the ride now.
Yeah.
And at the end of the ride, I don't know when you went earlier this year, they might have changed it, but last year when I went, Pirates, like the end, once you left the treasure room with Johnny Depp, which is like the last scene, it kind of just like let you out into like a industrial exit area, and we took stairs, like these steel stairs up and out of the ride. I don't know if that was like just how they were doing it then, if there was renovations or something like that, but
I think it was renovations.
Yeah, it was really bad. I mean, I was kind of really upset because I know that the Disneyland actually you go back up a waterfall or something like that. And that was never part of the Florida version. You never took a waterfall back up. So
yeah, and plus Disneyland has 2 drops and Disney World only has 1. But Disney World has the mermaids now, which is really cool. We don't have mermaids in Disneyland.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, I definitely saw that they added the projection on the water. That's kind of cool how they do that, too. I guess they, like, send bubbles up underneath the projection so it looks like it's actually moving. It's pretty genius. I like a lot of the effects that they've been adding, but I think that Johnny Depp is just too much. I mean, how do you feel about them adding so much to the ride?
Yeah, I really don't need him in the ride. My biggest complaint with Pirates is when they refurbished it or changed it, and now the women chase the men to be more PC. That's stupid. Like, really, anybody that's got a problem with that, they're just going to have a problem with anything that they think they can spin into being some kind of sexist issue. There was no need to change that. I thought it was
the Pirates,
fine.
The Pirates were raping those women, and the parents had to be like, well, why are they chasing them, and what are they going to do? And it was probably, they've probably got some complaints from it. But yeah, that is kind of weird how they would change the entire ride, like something minuscule like that. And I know in the Haunted Mansion, it's backwards in the Great Ballroom. Like the women are leading the men in the dance scene because it's mirrored. It's like the mirrored effect on the glass.
Yeah.
And they've never changed that, so I don't understand why they would change something that minuscule over some political, bullcrap.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I am still extremely upset about at Disney World is them getting rid of Alien Encounter in Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom. Best ride I've ever been on, and it was amazing.
Now,
and,
were you a fan of the extra terrestrial version or the later not so scary version?
Oh no, the original.
Right, the original was so fucking terrifying.
I know
that they actually had to put terror in the name, and it was terrible. Like kids would get off that it wasn't really a ride; it's like a show kind of, and people would be coming out of that. Kids would be screaming, crying. Yeah. It was terrible, but it's definitely
it was so good.
Definitely,
it was
a lot
amazing.
of fun.
And it's not like Disney didn't have warnings everywhere saying, "Look, this is not a kids ride. This is really scary. You should ride this before you let your kids on it." And then the parents want to complain to Disney because their kids are scared. It's like Disney should have just stood up and say, "We warned you. Your kid didn't like it. Next time, why don't you listen to us?"
Definitely.
But no, they had to dumb it down.
What really sucks is that they definitely dumbed it down. They took it to like a cartoon character now. It's like Stitch is cute, but I'm not scared when Stitch is, running around.
Burping in my face. Yeah. It's like, nah.
Yeah,
You know
I
what's
guess.
really cool though at Magic Kingdom in Tomorrowland? It's been there for a little while, and I'd never done it because I thought it was a stupid kid thing. I was like, whatever, this isn't going to be any good. But this last February, when Seth and I went, we were just walking around like, oh, let's try it anyways. It's the Monsters Inc. laugh floor.
Oh, it's hilarious.
So amazing. Like,
Yeah, it is
that's
a lot
one
of
of my
fun.
new favorite things.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun because I guess they have like a comedian there, maybe
Yeah, they have
behind the
two.
screen or something. I don't know how they do it, but I guess kind of like how they do Crush's Turtle Talk.
Yeah, but
along
this
the
is
same
way
line.
better than
Oh
Crush's
yeah,
Turtle
they
Talk.
actually hire like comedians. It's not just some surfer guy. These are actual
Yeah.
like comedians, and it's cool because they don't have to have the exact voice like how Crush has to sound like Crush. These guys, they just go off, and they pick on people, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun, definitely.
I love it. It's hilarious. I had
you-
so much fun.
Do you remember what was there before Monsters Inc.?
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man.
I'll give you a hint. The host of the show was voiced by Robin Williams.
Oh, that was a robot thing.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called.
It was called The Timekeeper with
Yes!
Robin Williams, and it was like this nine-eyed hovering vehicle that would travel back in time, and it would have a full like 360 view because there's 9 screens. It was awesome. That was a lot of
Yes.
fun, and one of the worst things about that though was that you had to stand through the entire thing because if you were to sit down, you would get motion sickness. So there's a special kind of way that they would do that. They would have the bars at your waist, and then the screen was above your eyes, so you had to look up. And that way, it would kind of give you the sense of motion, but it wouldn't give you the motion sickness.
Yeah.
So that was definitely another one of my favorite rides. Even before that, I guess Tomorrowland would definitely be one of my favorite parts of the park because you got the extraterrestrial alien encounter, the Timekeeper, which was awesome, and now Monsters Inc. But before they had Buzz Lightyear's gun battle, Men in Black kind of ripoff thing, they had one of like the iconic rides of Tomorrowland was the Delta If You Had Wings ride. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Like when I was a kid, that ride was like probably the most exciting ride because at the end of it, they would give you like your own wings. They would give you like a little plastic pen. It was the coolest thing ever because like they would make a big deal out of they were wearing like stewardess costumes and like pilot outfits and stuff like that. And for a little kid, it was really cool to get a little bit of something extra, like a free souvenir out of that. So,
Yeah.
and I was really upset when they took that away. So
Yeah, that's like when they got rid of all that cool stuff at Epcot. They got rid of Horizons,
Yeah.
and Body Wars, and then they changed Journey into Imagination, which Figment is one of my all-time favorite characters in the Disney universe. And so when they changed Journey into Imagination, I almost had a heart attack. And then they got rid of the exit to Journey into Imagination where you'd go through the Rainbow Tunnel,
Yeah.
which was my favorite thing as a child ever. I know it's still up there though, but it's not open to the public because it's not wheelchair accessible. So they had to, make a different exit. But the ride doesn't even represent Figment very well. And,
Right.
Ugh,
Yeah, I actually just went there last year. I went. I got to see Captain EO, which was awesome. And the Figment ride was definitely now it seems even outdated. It's got like one of the British actor comedian guys doing the whole thing, and it's basically all him. Figment pops up here and there, and it's kind of annoying. And like this whole ride used to be about Figment and the Dream Weaver and or the Dream Catcher or whatever the hell his name was.
Yep.
That was the whole thing, and it was like cartoony, and it was imagination and everything. Now it's all like cold and science and talking about smells and sounds and all this stuff. It's like scientific, which is cool. I mean, you're teaching kids about stuff, but at the same time,
it's not imagination.
Exactly.
Smells are real.
Exactly. But they do have that kind of cool like interactive play zone at the end. Have you been recently to the how they've done it now?
Yeah. Yeah,
so
they basically have Connect set up, but
Yeah.
it's Connect with Figment. Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, before Connect came out, it was like, oh, cool, I can move my
Yeah.
hands around in this area and make sounds, which was kind of cool. But I definitely, I know there's been a lot of like backlash with fans, Disney World fans and Epcot fans that were really pissed off when that went away. So.
Yeah, well, they had changed it, and then people there was an uproar, and so they went back, and I think less than a year after the first change, they kind of changed it again to kind of appease the fans, but also to get Disney get their way. But yeah, the first change, people were very mad.
Yeah, because they took Figment out of it completely, I think, right? And it was just the British guy, and then people went crazy. They were like, this is one of my favorite characters. I've been coming here since I was a little kid with Figment pens and all these Figment ears and all this stuff. Now they have, like, all the stuff's back. Like, the Figment, like, Mickey ears are back, like, the shirts and all that kind of stuff, man. It's funny because Epcot, when we grew up, it's so much different now, but I guess that's just how it is with all the Disney parks, really, because it's always changing. Like, look at Disneyland with, like, the Nemo subs. I mean, that ride was around forever. The Submarine Adventure was around forever, and then they decided to change it and add Nemo into it. Some people were pissed off because they were like, oh, another Pixar invading our thing, but a lot of people like it, and a lot of kids really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, I tried to ride it because back when it was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, I had ridden it before, and I enjoyed it. It was kind of boring, but I was able to ride it. And then hey, dogs, stop. And so then later, as I got older, the Nemo ride opened, and I was like, oh man, I'm going to see how they've changed it. And I got into the submarine, and instantly freaked out. Like, they had to reopen the door for me. I couldn't breathe. I was like, I can't do this. Yeah, but I didn't know that was going to be a problem, especially because I'd done it all my childhood and had never had a problem. And I just sat down in the sub and just flipped. And I've never been able to do it again. I want to because I really want to see it. I hear it's not that great. It's kind of boring and stuff. But I still want to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, it wasn't 20,000 Leagues out there in Disneyland. It was when they opened Disney World in '71, they had it here as 2001s, and they actually had, like, miniature Nautilus. Like, it wasn't like a war submarine like it was the cold gray war submarine of, like, the Submarine Adventure back in the day. Yeah. But I thought that it was just like a military submarine thing, and then, like, here it was kind of different because we had the monster octopus or whatever that was trying to get the submarine or whatever. It was a lot different, but instead of changing it, they just completely took that away from here in Florida.
Yeah.
Just completely paved over the entire thing, and it was like a meet and greet spot for Ariel and people. I know I was really mad about that because I also never really got to go on the ride that much. I think I went on it like maybe once, and I was scared because, like, I didn't understand that we were, going underwater, or we were only like a couple of feet under the water. We weren't actually submerged or whatever. I didn't understand any of that, but I remember being scared, and then when I went back, it was gone. I was like, no, I'll never get to ride those rides. But again, that's like just how Disney is. They constantly are ever evolving, always changing, always adding things and taking things away. So
yeah, I always get nervous when they touch Haunted Mansion. That's my favorite ride of all time. God. And every time I hear that they're touching it, I'm like, don't you dare mess anything up.
What do you think about the bride? Like, the new bride is like it's,
I hate the new bride. I do not like her at all. You mean the one in the attic?
Yeah.
I hate her. I don't like it at all. I want the heart-beating bride back. I thought she was terrifying and really well done. I love the new
like
Hitchhiking
the projection,
Ghosts.
it just like cheapens it a little bit. Like the old one was a scary ass face. It was like a dark colored face. And
then they had the air blowing on the dress that was like moving, and it was so awesome. And this new one I really don't like at all. The projection, it does cheapen it a lot. But I love the new Hitchhiking Ghosts. I think they look great. I love the way they interact with the Dune buggies. I do like it.
I like where they can change like your faces, or they added some really technical, high tech kind of like tricks that they can play on you at the end.
Yep.
It used to be so like cheesy and like to see the advancements that they've really come with. Like they used to just be sitting there and it was like he would just like bob his head back and forth like with the music or something. It was really cheesy. But now it's like they're actually flying around the dune buggy and they're like on top of it. They're switching people's faces, which is a really cool effect. I wasn't expecting that when they did it. They switched me and my girlfriend's face and I was like, what?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's really, really awesome. The first time I saw it too, I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing.
What did you think of the queue, the wait line? They added a whole bunch of stuff to the cemetery, like interactive and stuff now. What did you think of that?
I love it. I think it's really a lot of fun. I love that they got the Master Gacy tombstone right in the middle. I don't like that I can't skip it. So if it's the end of the night and I just want to go through, I have to walk through the graveyard, which I get stuck behind people that are going slow because they're playing with everything. Because they make it now that the right lane that goes straight into the mansion is only fast pass holders.
Oh,
so that's a little frustrating because last year when I went, you could choose. You could go to the right or the left. But now this past year that I've gone twice now, the right lane is only for fast pass holders. And so if you kind of just want to get right onto the ride, because it's like your 5th time riding it that day, you can't skip it. You have to walk through the graveyard.
Wow. Yeah, I went last year as well, and they allowed you to choose if you wanted to go, because I guess it was new, so people kind of wanted to see it and they didn't at the same time. I guess there was people that just wanted to go through. That's one of the really funny things about Disneyland, or Disney in general, just any Disney park, is that the amount of people that just run by things. There's so much detail everywhere, and we're always just so preoccupied with getting on, Space Mountain or Big Thunder Mountain, whatever one we can first. And we always walk by things, like even in the graveyard, like there's all kinds of different things. Like in the beginning of the queue, there's like these busts of this family or something like that. There's twins, there's an old lady, and there's like a story behind it where like they all died because they were murdered. Somebody was trying to cash in like the will or something like that, and they solved the entire thing right there for you. There's like 2 matchsticks in the lady's hair, and it's just like one little tiny thing like that. Like they add little tiny bits of detail just to like enhance the story, and there's so many things like that we like just run right past. Like in I think it's in Frontierland, the way they have the streets set up, it's like it's all red, and then there's like a brown center, which is like, you don't really think about that, but it has to do with like back in like the frontier times when there was no sewage and everybody would just throw everything out into the street. So it's like, like they paid that much attention to detail, and it's really kind of like disappointing sometimes when you find out those things and then you're like, man, I totally walked right past that. Yeah, well, that's what I love that's why Disney parks are always going to be better than any other park out there, is because their attention to detail. They want to basically take over all of your senses, and even without you knowing it. And most of the things that you see or experience or you feel or in the parks are all subtle. And they make that effect on you so subtly with how tall buildings are or forced perspective. Disney uses forced perspective a lot, all through Main Street. The cobblestone in Main Street compared to the sidewalks is red because Disney wanted his customer or the park goers to feel like they're walking down a red carpet when they first enter Main Street. It's like the trees on the side of Main Street are lined up a certain way so that they kind of it makes it feel like it's, I think, shorter walking into the park but longer walking out to make you want to stop at the stores. All these little things that they thought about that other people, they might not notice, but they do. Their minds notice it, and that's why they love it. But I don't like going to Disney with people who just want to ride the big rides. And one of my favorite things to do at Disneyland and Disney World is just to walk around and take in everything. Just to walk around and see things or pay attention to things I might have not noticed before. This past time we just went, we did the Pirate Adventure scavenger hunt for the first time, and that was amazing. There's just always something new. No matter how many times I've been, there's always something new I'm experiencing or noticing, which I think is great. Definitely. I could literally talk about Disney all day.
I know, me too.
That's kind of why I had you on the podcast because, like I said, the very first video that I ever saw was the Day at Disneyland thing, and I don't know if you ever wonder this, like how people get introduced to you or how they get to watch your videos or anything like that. But like
I ask that a lot.
the original way that I started watching your videos was I went to Disney World last year. It was like May or so, and I went online and I found some really cool videos with a lot of like information about the park, like trivia and stuff like that. And I got really into it, like became a Disney nerd. Like I went there and I was able to like take people places and like take them to like get this really like obscure food item that's like cheap but it's delicious. Like we got a baked potato. Like when do you think to get a baked potato?
Yeah.
But like I went there, I looked up those videos and it like kind of got me into the Disney mode. Then I was like, there's a whole nother park that I've never been to. I've never like researched. I've never even seen any of the rides, like differences in the rides and stuff. So I started looking at Disneyland. And one morning I was on YouTube and I started looking up Disneyland videos, and I remember I saw the opening day video, like it was the entire opening day where all the things were going wrong in Disneyland, like the cameras were screwed up and all this. And then over in the corner I see a Day at Disneyland with just, I don't even think it had a picture, it just had a picture of you, it had a picture of just Disneyland, and I clicked it. And it was funny because I'm gonna be honest. At first, your voice is like kind of high pitched and you're very bubbly, and it kind of annoyed me at first, which I think once I got over it, it made me enjoy your videos so much more because I kind of had that like that put off in the beginning, and then I was like, oh, this is like really cool. So I started watching that video and I had so much fun. And, like, I saw that you do all these videos, like, video games, and you dress up, like, in cosplay. Like, you dressed up like Cammy from Street Fighter and went on. Like, that was insane. So, like, it was really cool that I got to learn a little bit more about Disneyland and, like, find out things about Disneyland, because the way you presented it, again, it was just seriously like a day at Disneyland. Like I was hanging out with you and Tedekin and your other friend. And it was a lot of fun. So that's basically how I got into your videos, and it's carried on to like even to today. So I really want to thank you for having the time to be here on the show with me and talk about Disney and cosplay and all that stuff. I've had a lot of fun. Is there anything that you're going to be doing coming up like in the future here that you want to like tell the listeners about?
Well, it is con season, so I'm like deep into cosplay preparing now. There's tons of cons, and I love meeting everybody. So if any of your listeners are going to be in any of the cons, I'd love to meet them and talk to them about games and cosplay and comics and whatever. And then, of course, there's so many games coming out this year. So I'll be doing a lot more gameplay, live streaming, gameplay capturing, lots of reviews, and just more fun.
Awesome. And just to let the listeners know that you have your own store, you sell prints and other like posters and stuff like that. What all do you sell on your store?
Yep, I sell both posters and prints for different cosplays and photo shoots I've done, and I'm going to start doing soon. There's going to be like Polaroids and some limited prints, T-shirts, and all that good stuff.
Cool. So the Polaroids, that sounds like pretty fun. Like, what do you just take a selfie and then like sign it and send it to people, or how's that work?
The Polaroids are more kind of like behind the scenes of photo shoots or more candid style of stuff. And each of them are going to only be that one in existence of ever. So
right. It's a Polaroid.
So they find something they like, it's going to be just for them.
That's awesome. That's really cool, and it's cool that you offer that kind of stuff for your fans. That like that interacting, like personalized. It's really cool that you're there for your fans.
They're the most important thing ever to me.
Yeah, definitely. Without them, I mean, well,
I
guess that we wouldn't really even be talking right now. So, well, maybe we would. You never know. You came from Tampa, so
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Raychul. Thanks to all the listeners. Make sure to check out her website. It's Raychul. So it's the Raychul. Is it theraychul.com or is it Raychul.com or how is it?
Just Raychul.com. And then on Twitter, it's the Raychul. And on YouTube, it's Raychul Moore.
Definitely. And check out all her videos. I know you can't. We spent a lot of time talking about a video that you can't check out. Actually, real quick before we end this, is there any way that you were possibly thinking about putting that video out anywhere else? Because, like I said, it was so much fun, and I would love for some of the listeners to be able to check it out one day. I guess Disney didn't like that you played their music in the video?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. And I fingers crossed, I haven't been dinged for using the music yet. I mean, I tried to use more obscure stuff like
okay, well, the Disneyland
DDR.
video?
Yeah, that's on YouTube.
Yeah, I just went on there, and it's not on there.
What?
Yeah, you got pinged, the EMI or whatever. So yeah, that's why I've been trying to watch it for like days now, and I've been like trying to find it someplace else. So if it does come back up, I'm sure you'll let everybody know on social media or whatnot where they can find it.
Yeah, I'll just overlay it with some really happy sounding Disney music that's not Disney.
Yeah, I think it was the roller coaster ride that probably killed it, because that was like full overlay. You completely cut out the roller coaster audio and just played like the audio for the music, which was cool.
Yeah.
I love the way you did that.
The audio from the roller coaster is so loud because it's
Yeah.
all the wind and all the screaming, and it's just like overpowering. So, yeah, I just overlaid California Screaming on it.
Yeah. So, okay, well, if it does go back up, definitely check that out. Check out the website, and you could always throw a rate or a subscription to The Jerrad Show on iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, wherever you listen to us, JerradShow.com. Thanks again, Raychul, so much for having the time to sit down and talk to me about all this fun stuff, and it was a pleasure. I hope to have you on again.
Thank you so much. I had a great time.
All right, and as for everybody else, thanks for listening, and we'll tune in next week. We've got this guy who makes boomerangs. He's pretty awesome. So check it out, and have a week. All right, so that was episode 28 with Raychul Moore. I got to be honest, I didn't listen to this one either. I didn't listen to any of them this week. It's too, like, as soon as I start talking, I'm like, I can't listen to this. I'm so cringy, man. Rachel's a cool girl, man. She's pretty cool. Let's see, I sent her a couple of things from Disney World from Haunted Mansion, because that's like her favorite ride or whatever, and I sent her a bunch of stuff. She never made a video about it. That's why I sent it to her, so she could like unbox it and be like, oh, look at this thing, and look at this, and look at this. Never happened. But I did meet her maybe 2 years ago, I guess. She was at Epcot, or actually I was at Epcot one day, and she was leaving from her hotel, the All-Star Movies, Music, Sports, I don't know. One of the All-Star resorts. And she was with her boyfriend, Seth Hendricks. I don't really keep up with Raychul anymore, so I don't know if she's like still with that dude, but he was really cool. I met him, and I met her, and we took a picture, and I went back to Epcot. So that was it. So that was Classics Week on the Jerrad Show. Hope you enjoyed it, because I did not enjoy it at all. I don't like listening to myself talk. I mean, when I do a podcast, I'll listen to it afterwards, just to see what I said, if I said something stupid and I didn't realize what I was saying. But yeah, usually I don't listen to podcasts just for entertainment, my own podcast for entertainment. So it's kind of weird listening to these podcasts that I kind of know what we were talking about, but it's been so long. It's been like 4 years. This one came out we did this one in April of 2014, so just about 4 years exactly. Will I do guests ever again?
Yes, I would like to have guests basically in the same kind of fashion as I did with these guests, but now that I have the ability to record a phone call or a Skype guest without the disturbing or disruptive echo in my headphones, that might make things a little bit easier. So, yeah, I would like to try to get some guests on the show coming up. Speaking of the show, before we get out of here, I guess I'll talk a little bit about the plans for the show. The plans for the show are to go back to every day, doing it every day, Monday through Friday, every night. I'll have a podcast up, and you can check it out on JerradShow.com or on iTunes or on Stitcher or wherever you listen to the Jerrad Show. Check it out, and I'll be there every day, starting next week, Monday through Friday. We'll be back with the Walking Dead. I'll talk about The Walking Dead on Monday. That's definitely something I want to talk about because I don't watch it anymore. But spoiler alert, that's what I was going to tell everybody on Monday. So, anyways, let's pot on some end music here. Pipe in some end music, intro or outro music. Man, I'm all over the place right now. Go to Fresh Light Print on Etsy to support our sponsors. Etsy.com/shop/freshlightprint. Go there, get a card that says something sarcastic and funny, like I love you like a back alley hooker likes crack or something like that. I guess we can look it up. If they're being so nice to let's see. If they're being so nice as to sponsor the show, I might as well look up some of their product. Okay, here we go. Here's a nice little card at the top. $5. It's a Mother's Day card, and it says... I don't see what that says. For enduring the blood-curdling torture of my adolescent years, I promise to always keep your electronics functional. And that's pretty good. And we have some reviews here. This lady says, I regret not buying the 4-pack, but I'm totally going to. Not only is this card funny as hell, but it's very well made. Also, the packaging was top-notch. We'll be back. Thanks so much. Oh, so they liked it. Awesome card, packaged really well and quickly shipped. Just 5-star reviews. Just people are happy with their items from Fresh Light Print. And if you go, let's say you go and you find something that you like. Let's say you like this little wreath here, and you can get it as a print, frame it for inspiration, and it says it doesn't happen overnight. Very inspirational. Maybe that's for you. So you just go ahead and click it, and then you add it to your cart, and then when you're done, you just type in the code Jerrad Show 18, and guess what? You're gonna get free shipping. If you help support the Jerrad Show, you get free shipping with the Jerrad Show 18 code. That's all you got to do. Jerrad Show 18, sweet little code, right there at checkout, and you get free shipping. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Jerrad Show and all the shows this week. The classics week here on the Jerrad Show. We'll probably do this, I don't know, every year, I guess. Oh, it's going to be terrible. I'm going to hate next year. Anyways, thanks for listening. If you want to do what I was saying on the the last podcast with Rachel that you were just listening to, give us a review or a subscribe on iTunes or something like that. Do something like that. That'd be nice. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. You guys enjoy your weekend. Join me Monday where I talk about The Walking Dead. Have a nice weekend. Have a week. Oh wait, hang on. Wait a second. Hang on. I'm glad I thought about that because I used to end the show with "have a week." I used to just say "have a week" like I was Smodcast or something. That's Kevin Smith's ending on Smodcast. Have a week. And I just totally just gypped it. I don't know. I'm all over the place here. It's late. What do you want from me, people? I've been up all night. I was up all night last night and up all day today. I need to go home, get some sleep. So that's what I'm going to do. Here's the outro song There we go. All right, go to JerradShow.com to listen to all the episodes of The Jerrad Show. And tune in on Monday to listen to The Walking Dead. See you later. Thanks for listening. Have a good night.